The Panthers back in 2014 went 7-8-1 and won the NFC South. Can you draw any parallels from that season to this season? I asked a former Panther player from that team, and I'll let you know what he had to say right here on Locked On Panthers.
You are Locked On Panthers, your daily Carolina Panthers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome into another edition of the Locked On Panthers podcast, a part of the Locked On Podcast Network. I'm your host, as always, Julian Council, talking Carolina Panthers with you every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and yes, of course, Friday, your team every day. That's our motto here on the Locked On Podcast Network. Thanks for watching the show right here on YouTube and listening wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Today's episode of Locked On Panthers is sponsored by PrizePicks. Download the PrizePicks app today and use code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Really excited about this show today. I'm going to just give you some background. So I had a plan for the episode. You may see if you're watching on YouTube, where I was going to talk about the Panthers' biggest strength, weakness, and question heading into the playoffs this weekend versus the Rams. And you can see behind that, after it, Roman Harper on the 2014 Carolina Panthers. So I had called Rome on Monday afternoon because I was looking to get somebody's number to get this person on the show potentially later on this week. We'll see if that happens or not. But before that, we spoke for like 40 minutes about college. Then we got into the Panthers and talked about that team back in 2014. And I kind of compared, well, not kind of, I did compare this year's team to that version. And he's like, whoa. And we had the conversation. Then I stopped. I'm like, hold on. We should record this. So we are doing that right now. I'm going to show you or play you my conversation with Roman Harper later on this evening after I talked to him in the afternoon. I had gone and recorded a segment before. I'm throwing that one out. I'm not going to change what the overlay looks like here on YouTube. So here's my conversation with former Panthers safety Roman Harper about 2014 and about a bunch of other things that happened during his time in Carolina and looking ahead to this game this coming Saturday against the Rams. All right. Excited for this conversation, as I'm always happy to talk to this man who his name on the show right now, for those viewing on YouTube, is Romeo Gonzalez, but you'll recognize him as TV's Roman Harper. Also, former Carolina Panthers safety Roman Harper, but truly, I guess you're a Saint. Aren't you in the Saints like Hall of Honor now, Rome?
It's called a Hall of Fame. Saints
Whatever.
Hall of Fame.
Whatever.
I mean, yeah, I spent more years there. It's okay. Like, I'm not mad.
I'm not giving you a hard time. I'm just making sure that I got that right. I want to get your credentials correct. So, Saints Hall of Famer Roman Harper, but still formerly a Panther who resides here in Charlotte. Not trying to get away where you live, but obviously enjoyed his time far more here in the Carolinas than down in Louisiana.
It's just easy to raise family here. So I was actually playing for New Orleans my last year in 2016. When I bought a place here in Charlotte. So, we my wife and I decided we were going to be here, and it's worked out great. Like, I love this place. It's, I don't, love is a strong word. I really, really like here. It's convenient. My work is actually here, and I actually was living here before I got the job with ESPN SEC Network. And then the airport, like it's flights everywhere. It's a big hub for American. It works out great. But I'll be honest, I tell everybody, they ask me, like, how do you describe Charlotte? I'm like, man, it's like a really nice bowl of white rice, you know? Like, you need more to it. So I get to travel and do other things. But, man, and I can get full off white rice. I just want more every other meal. It's okay. Like, I love it. That's why I still got a place in New Orleans. That's why I still go to Alabama. That's why I travel it for work. It's good. It's perfect for me.
I understand that, being someone from here who loves the city. I don't have an extreme like for the city, who loves the city. I hear what you're saying. You're not wrong. You got to get out of here every once in a while. And Lord knows I got to be transient every once in a while. But
I mean, you go to the mountains, you go to the beach. It's tons like right here. You can just
take mini vacations other parts of North Carolina. That's why this state's the best. So the genesis of this conversation is I called you out of the blue today on Monday because I had something to ask you, but also I hadn't talked to you for a while. I think the last time I maybe ran into you was over at like Was it Ace number 3 over in Myers Park right there on Providence Road?
It might have been. I frequent that place every now and then, you know?
Yeah, you got to watch out for that, man. I mean, I know there's protein in them burgers, but there's some other stuff going on too. You need to be careful.
I didn't say multiple times a week. You know what I mean?
You said frequent. I mean, frequent sounds like you going. I mean, frequent is frequent. You're going over there a lot.
Hey, look, man. When you live in Myers Park, bro, you got to feed the beast. You got to be local. You got to be one with the people. So,
Yes.
but yes, I like Ace number 3, and that might have been the last time we saw each other. But let's tell the people what it really was. He was looking for somebody else's number. All right, and then kind of double check, and then I just started ranting because he brought up what he wanted to talk to that person about, and then I was like, you know what, this is what it really mattered. And you're like, you know what, Roman, I should have you on my show. So here I am.
Yeah, and here we are. And look, for the folks out there, we talked for like 40 minutes.
It was 44 minutes, 27 seconds.
But I'm saying we talked like 40 minutes before I even asked you for something. So like
that is true.
we had a conversation. Don't act like, I just called you and it's like, hey man, I need this. No, we were talking college ball for a while because you got your gig with the SEC Network. You were down there at the Sugar Bowl. I assume you're gonna be in Phoenix, right? For Ole Miss?
Yes.
Okay.
Leaving a couple of days. Yes. I'll be down in Phoenix for the Fiesta Bowl. That'll be fun as well.
Well, safe travels to that. But yeah, so I brought this up because look, Panthers, they won the division barely by the grace of the Falcons. Now you said they also should be thanking New Orleans because the Saints
No question. I'll stop you right there. Yes, of course they should. First of all, the Panthers are in the playoffs. They won the division. Congratulations. But it's probably the worst limping into the playoffs that you could ever have. And I know like everything resets and you get a home game, so you should be excited. The fans should be fired up because they haven't seen a playoff game since who knows when.
2015, last 15's last home time. So back when you were around, right?
Yeah, for sure. And we kicked ass that year. So and that was the last home playoff game. 2017 they went, but they were on the road, right?
Yeah, down in New Orleans.
Yeah, okay. So yes. So it's been that long. So you should be excited about those things. But man, talking about limping in. And the thing is that they should definitely thank the Saints because they played terrible. All right, they fumbled on the first play. They got a punt block. They were actually lucky that the game was even close. But Tyler Shuckers really gave that team some juice. And New Orleans was the hottest team in the division up until the last week. Shout out to Atlanta, who never really does anything good for not a lot of people in the division ever. And they actually won the game, got Carolina into the playoffs, and then fired their coach like an hour and a half after that. So
Raheem Morris died for the Panthers' sins.
You know what I mean? That's where it was. And I just said this because, like, the real joy of winning the division, the way I say it, that kind of limping in and that it's kind of just whatever about it, is because, man, when you win the division, you get the hat, you get to take the picture on the opposite opposing team's field. Like, those memories are with you forever. I still have those memories saved into my phone. And the Panthers get their hats today in a team meeting preparing for some other team because they didn't win their game. And they had the last 3 weeks to kind of lock this thing up. I kind of give you a pass on the Seattle game. Like, it was misty. It looked like the game was actually played in Seattle, honestly. And they just didn't play well enough to, and that's a really good Seattle team. That's number one in the NFC. So you got to give credit when credit's due, but ultimately you are here now. So what do you do with this opportunity? And I know you're going to mention 2014, so I'm not going to steal your thunder.
Let's look. Hey, Nick Scott said after the game on Saturday when they lost, a hat and a T-shirt's a hat and a T-shirt. I'm going to take it any way I can get. Now, look, the man's already got a Super Bowl ring, so, like, I understand. But he said, I don't care how we get it. And, look, let's be honest. Like, did they deserve, after the way things ended, to, like, get in? I mean, maybe not, but, like, what does deserve have to do about it? But, like, look, they got their T-shirt. They had to walk into the locker room today, and they got the hat was sitting there, T-shirt was there, so they got them. They can take them home. They just don't get to celebrate.
Give them away. Do what you want to do. Yeah,
do whatever. But yeah, they didn't get the celebration. They didn't get the party, and they honestly they didn't get deserve the party, but they earned their way into the playoffs, and that's brought back parallels to 11 years ago when y'all back in 2014 were sitting at 3-8-1. Looking like a whole bunch of trash, and then you turn it around, won 7 straight games. I know one of them games is like when Luke knocked out Johnny Manziel, and then people lost their damn minds. And man on the street interview being like, Derek Anderson, that's got to be our guy, which was nonsense after Cam got in a car wreck, but Cam came back. Y'all got that win against Ryan Lindley-led Arizona, and you gave Seattle all they could handle. Cam Chancellor was like, not today. I'm not losing to these dudes. So there's been parallels to like, okay, last time the Panthers were winning the division, losing record was 2014. I said that, and your response was?
Immediately, hell no. Like, don't compare us to that team. We didn't limp in, all right? All right, we started out 2 or 3-0, whatever that was, all right? And we won our way into the playoffs. We got really hot at the end of the season. We won our last 4 or 5 games, kind of went on that run while the Saints and I believe the Falcons kind of plummeted down the stretch of that season when we were like, Julian, that was the longest losing streak I'd ever had in my life. We went 2 whole months without winning a game, 9 weeks, including the bye week. I was angry every single day. And so that was not a great team. But, man, we won at the right time. And ultimately, they always say November and December is when playoff teams are made. And we are a great example of that because we didn't win before that. And I tell you this. The thing that I thought was different, because you were like, oh, it was this player, maybe that player, and we're not going to put names out there, but I will say the biggest difference that happened was the McDermott and this team was just like, you know what, we're not winning. Let's just go young, bump it. So we put Bené Ben-Wickery in that corner, all right? Because early in the year, we had Melvin White, Antoine Cason, who they brought in. We had Godfrey playing some nickel. And then we had Thomas Deku at the other safety and then me.
Yeah.
So, like, that was the secondary. And we were okay at best, not great. Then all of a sudden we put in Josh Norman before he became Batman Dark Knight Josh Norman. All right. Then we had Bené Ben-Wickery at another corner. And then we ultimately put in Trey Boston at other safety. I was literally the vet out there, and I was just lining people up. I literally told Trey where to go every time before we broke the huddle. All right, Trey, go to your right. Trey, go over there. Then I would tell Bené what to do, or maybe Josh, whoever was on my side. And it was just like we just pieced it together. The defense started playing better. And then ultimately we all came to the precipice of it all was when we got to go to Atlanta, win on the road in Atlanta, and clinch the playoffs, get to take those pictures like I talked about.
Yeah.
By winning the division. I told Bené to do something he was not even supposed to do. It worked out covering Roddy White. I get an interception, House call it. And then next you know, later on in the game, Trey gets an interception, House calls it. And it was just like, man, we were a team that was just playing fast. And I told you this earlier. I said, man, sometimes being young and dumb is not a bad thing because you don't know any better. And ignorance is bliss. And so I was around the secondary of a lot of young players, probably the youngest secondary I'd ever been a part of, where I wasn't the youngest guy. And it was fun because guys were just playing. Like, they didn't know. I know that's Julio Jones, but, like, I ain't guarded him before. He ain't beat me.
What does it matter?
So, like, yeah, like, he ain't beat me before. So it was like guys were just out there playing. And ultimately, we got hot at the right time. We beat Arizona. Like, I think that was like I think we kind of set a record at the time for like the least amount of yards given up in the game. So that was, but they had the backup quarterback, Lindley.
Yeah.
And he was terrible. But that's not my fault. That wasn't my fault.
He's bad.
You know what I mean? Like, that's not my fault. Like, nobody's complaining when who was playing the Pacers in the finals last year? OKC, when their point guard
Halliburton went out.
Halliburton, you don't feel bad for that, It's part of the game. And ultimately, man, we got ourselves into the playoffs. And it wasn't because of the amount of wins we had, but it's because we had a tie. Like, the tie is what got us in. We had less losses than all the other teams because of the tie. And that's what ultimately got us in and got us a home game. And I'm not mad at that because I was there when beast mode happened too, where they were 7-9 and beat us in 2010. Yeah, 2010 playoffs. Yeah. When beast mode was created, and I was with New Orleans. And they were a 7-9 team that we had just beat by 30-something, like 3 or 4 weeks before that. And then we go to Seattle and get smacked.
Kicking off the year feeling good is the goal, right? And honestly, hydration is the easiest win. When I stay on top of it, my energy, focus, and mood all level up. But let's be real, plain water doesn't always cut it, especially when you're grinding through long days, hitting the gym, or just trying to stay consistent with your health goals. That's where Drip Drop comes in. Doctor-developed, proven fast hydration that helps your body and mind work better. Think clear focus, better energy, elevated mood, even that fresh skin glow. Drip Drop's science-backed formula is trusted by firefighters, medical professionals, and over 90% of top college and pro teams because it rehydrates you faster and more effectively than water alone. They have flexible subscription options, so you're never stuck without it, whether you're hitting the gym, juggling work, or just staying consistent with your goals. Right now, Drip Drop is offering podcast listeners, and that's you, 20% off your first order. Go to dripdrop.com and use promo code LOCKEDONNFL. That's dripdrop.com, promo code LOCKEDONNFL for 20% off. Stock up now at dripdrop.com and use promo code LOCKEDONNFL. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. Whether you're starting a new routine or jumping into player projections for the first time, trying something new can feel like a challenge. But with Prize Picks, it always feels good to be right. With high-pressure football matchups every weekend and elite hoops action almost every night, the action never slows down, and Prize Picks lets you stay in control. Prize Picks is the daily fantasy app that makes watching sports even more exciting by letting you build lineups based on player projections. No drafts, no waiting, just pick more or less and play your way. Getting started on Prize Picks is quick and simple. The app is super easy to navigate. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. Well, I'm glad you brought that up because Dave Canales, the head coach here in Carolina, was a part of Pete Carroll's staff there that year, that afternoon. Unfortunate evening, obviously, for you guys. And I have laughed many a times, Roman, having known you now, when I look back and see that highlight and you desperately diving to stop Marshawn on the Beast Quick run. And it's just like, poor Rome. He's giving everything. He hadn't quit on the play. Place is going berserk, and they're getting their ass kicked.
It sucks because I'm like not close, but I'm like in the picture the whole damn time. Yeah. It's like, oh, I had nothing to do with the play. I was just an edge player. Then I'm like, okay, somebody missed him. You know, normal like, oh, let me run.
Right.
You know, like.
At least you didn't get stiff armed though.
No, I didn't. And like my boy Tracy got stiff armed. Jabari missed. Alex Brown missed twice. It was like. I'm just like, oh, Lord. And then I look up, he's got like 3 blockers with me. I'm like, this is terrible. It was bad. It was really bad. And, I mean, we were so beat up, and we had a Super Bowl hangover. We thought we'd just roll in there and just do what we did to them last time. And hopefully the Panthers don't have that same mentality.
Well, yeah, that's what I want to –
They beat this Rams team. Yeah.
Because I compare, like, I asked you about 14 to this year where – all right, they limped in. Y'all really were on the up and up and like going in hot, but you were still a team that was 7-8-1. And a lot of people in the league, Ryan Lindley starting aside, were probably like, I mean, all right, is Carolina really going to do something? But then you were on the other side of it, a team that was coming off a Super Bowl, right? Then you go on the road, play 7-9 team, kind of like juxtapose those mentalities from like a team that's like, all right, people don't think we're supposed to be here, to a team's like, man, like we should take care of these dudes.
You know, first of all, shout out for you for using that word juxtapose correctly. I've used it in not incorrect form. So, like, just know that. You can't mess
Alabama education there, y'all.
And
roll damn tide. Roll damn tide.
Roll tide, you know. We don't get pissed about nothing but the tide. All right, so, but I will say that, like, you still have to lock in and go win the game. Because you don't get to carry over your successes or your warts from the regular season. Like everything starts all over even again. And so going out to Seattle, where we had just beat that team, like literally by like 20-something, almost 30 points. A couple weeks before that, we were like, bro, we're going to go out here, we're going to smack them, and then we're going to keep rolling. We're going to go back to the Super Bowl. And then we get out there and we run into a hornet's nest after having some early success. Then boom, 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 they jump on us. We come back, and then all of a sudden, beast mode happens, and like you look up and we lost that game, and you're just shocked. And so Carolina has to continue to lock in. They got to think that they're still the underdog, which they may be. I don't even know.
13.5 points at home.
13.5?
Yes.
Wow. So that's what I'm saying. Like, dude, why'd you tell me that? Why'd you tell me that?
You asked they're underdogs. I told you the truth.
So, I would say that, man, you still got to lock in because I think Devontae Adams is going to be back. Puka Nacua, which you did a great job of slowing down in the first matchup. You did all these good things. And right now, Carolina's a team that really has just not completely learned how to win. And sometimes you got to go through the lows to get to the highs. And hopefully the lows have kind of happened because you don't know when that high is going to happen. You just don't know. And it's the same thing that my coach would always say. His name was Joe Vitt, a linebackers coach in New Orleans. He'd always talk about, guys, you're in the good old days. You don't know them when you're living it until you're, done because you don't ever appreciate it. 2015, nobody actually thought, man, this is the good old days. Man, this is you better hold on to it and cherish it because it's so hard to win in this league and injuries happen. And the team's never the same from year to year. You lose 60% of the team every year. So it's you just don't know when your opportunity is here for you. And so whatever it is, you got to lock in. We're here. I know we didn't get the best looking date to the prom, but bro, we got a chance. And you don't know what that little corsage will get you. You know what I mean? It may get you a kiss. It may get you a hug. It may get you 2 more best friends. You know what I mean? Your homies over there. So you just don't know what that date will get you. And you got to take advantage of it ultimately. You got a home game. The crowd should be good. And hopefully the weather's nicer too. And, man, just go out there, get you a couple turnovers. You just don't know what can happen ultimately. You already pulled off a big upset when you beat them one time. You also pulled off a big upset on the road versus Green Bay. It's the teams that, that everybody thinks the Panthers are going to win is when they struggle. But, when nobody gives them a chance, it's actually when they've been good this year.
Yeah, when they play the Saints. 1-win Saints, 3-win Saints. We're hey, this is it. They're gonna win. And then when they lose, and then when they play the Packers and this Rams team, that's what? Who is this? Who is this team?
Is that? Yeah.
Let me get you out on this because let me ask you about your boy. Well, I guess I don't know. He's same school as you, Bryce Young.
He is my boy. When they drafted
do you have
him,
a relationship with him at all?
No. A little bit. We know
other than being that fraternity of Alabama football.
Yeah, look, man, I got 4 kids in a life. You know what I mean? He's dude, I ain't got time to be trying to hang, bro. We ain't got time for that. But I do love the guy. I do. I think he's a great player. He did a lot for the University of Alabama. I will say this too about him is man, the dude's got skills. He's small. Everybody wants to knock him for this, that, and the other. I think the players and the pieces around him have to continue to get better. It's hard when your best player on the outside is a rookie wide receiver that didn't play at a big school, that's still learning how to be a pro on a day-to-day basis. That's his best weapon. His tight ends are, they're, you know what I mean?
They're not there. They're not there.
Yeah, it's who's the difference maker that you can give the ball to. So that's why they had to lean on the run so much. The pass blocking is not always perfect. They're better run blockers than pass blockers. And when you signed the contract of drafting this quarterback, the first thing that you said was, we got to protect him. If we don't protect him, he's going to look very average, just like every other quarterback is. And he doesn't have this Matt Stafford type arm strength. Mm-hmm. He doesn't have the size of Cam Newton. He's not he's just middle of the road in a lot of these categories, but up here is where he's special. He's cerebral. And so you got to be able to continue to show him the pictures. And he also has to gain confidence. Look, when the Panthers, I had actually kind of gotten off the Panthers bandwagon for a little bit, and then they drafted Bryce Young. And I feel they just bought me off.
They pulled on the heartstrings, right?
Yeah,
they're hey, we got to get Roman back in here.
They bought me off. And so I'm back. I totally root for the Panthers every week. And when they play the Saints, I just root for the players that I love and I know. So, we
know you're rooting for New Orleans. Don't lie,
dude. I'm not. I'm being honest. I literally just root for the players.
Okay.
I don't care for that, man. Because they neither one of them cutting the check for me no more. But they both let me in the building, so I'm cool. I'm
about to send this tape to Gail Benson. She's gonna take you out the Hall of Fame.
It's all right. I still got Mickey Loomis though. That's my dog, so it's still good. I'm good. And he's happy right now because Oregon's in the playoffs still, and he's talking trash because they're further along than Alabama. So Mickey's in a happy place.
Well, we'll see how that works out. But always great to talk to you. Twice in one day. It's been too long. I'll have to bother you again sometime here soon. Not to come on the show, but maybe we just got to get up and see each other here.
Let's go get a beer, man. You like beer.
Absolutely.
I know you do.
I like beer. I like beer. I'm trying to do that thing where I don't drink again to start the year. We'll see how long that lasts. I went like 90 days last year.
Why?
I just, trying to be healthy.
It's way other ways to do that. Like you don't have to punish yourself.
I know.
Like,
it was actually enlightening. I felt pretty good. And then as soon as I started drinking again, I was like, maybe I shouldn't do this as much as
like why was I doing that?
It's exactly. The volume. I think it's more the volume. And I'm not saying I'm a drunk, guys, but it's just like, like have a good time. But we'll get up soon. But I appreciate you as always, Romeo Gonzalez. What is he? Your Harp 41 on Twitter. Check out all he does there on the SEC Network. He'll be bloviating about the Ole Miss Rebels and the Miami Hurricanes on Thursday. I mean, come on.
It is Thursday.
I hate these. Yeah. I hate these Thursday games. Stop being weird. So afraid to go up against the NFL. Put the games in on Saturdays in December. Bro, like people want to watch a Week 15 game between the Broncos and the Raiders instead of watching a quarterfinal game like in December 20th.
I'm kind of with you on that, but man, dude, I'm telling you, the NFL is like, man, what's the dark side in Star Wars? Like, bro, they are
the dark side.
Yeah, bro, they're like, yeah, like the new fleet,
like the Sith Lord, I guess.
Yeah, dude, they are. Yeah. Like wherever they go, they just take it over. Trust me, like, man, I work with I do my podcast and the Players Second Acts podcast, and like, dude, the NFL is just never changes, dude. It's like a big conglomerate that just moves and it goes, and nobody wants any smoke with it, for real. Nobody does.
I mean, I get it. I mean, they stole the NBA's Christmas Day, which is that's sad.
Yeah,
that's
like
sad.
Nobody. It's sad. I don't even watch the NBA on Christmas. Like that was just tradition for like forever.
I had the NFL games on. They were trash. They were on. I was with my family, so we wasn't really paying attention. Was talking to all that, but like. It is what it is, man. But again, appreciate you as always. Check them out. You already know. Don't give them any trash. Actually, great. We don't have time for it. But Rome, love you. I'll see you here soon. Safe travels out to the desert. Take a quick pause. Come back here and wrap up the show. This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. The new year doesn't require a new you, maybe just a less burdened you. We all carry things that weigh us down or hold us back, and therapy can help you identify what those things are by offering an unbiased perspective to better understand your relationships, motivations, and emotions. That's where BetterHelp comes in, making it easy to get matched online with a qualified therapist who can help you work through what's holding you back. With over 30,000 therapists and an average rating of 4.9 out of 5 based over 1.7 million client reviews, BetterHelp has served over 5 million people globally, and it works. BetterHelp makes it easy to get matched online with qualified therapists. Sign up and get 10% off at BetterHelp.com/locked-on. That's BetterHelp.com/locked-on. NFL season is in full swing, and there's nothing like being at the game. The crowd noise, the energy, and cheering alongside other fans. Watching at home is great, but being in the stadium hits different. The frustrating part has always been getting tickets, waiting in queues, dealing with logins, and watching prices change right at checkout. That's why the Game Time app gives the advantage back to fans. It's the hack for unlocking amazing NFL tickets and experiences in just a few taps. I pulled up the Game Time app today to check out tickets for Saturday, Panthers Rams wildcard matchup, and instantly found great ticket options. Take the guesswork out of buying NFL tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNFL. That's LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem promo code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today and get back to being there live. All right, so we're back here. I was going to let Roman go, but I wanted to say something before going to break, but then said, no, let's not do it. But in our conversation earlier, Because I was about to say, a lot of people like to give you a hard time because of the Steve Smith, I don't know, late hit, whatever you want to call it.
It was definitely late. Like, I don't know what else can you call it.
It is. But like they like to give you a hard time about that. Maybe that you had played for the Saints as well, but like obviously you and Steve are past that. Or I would hope a lot of fans should be past it, but they're going to obviously bring it up. But you did tell me something very interesting today about that play and like what led you to Carolina. So please do enlighten the audience that may still be out on Roman Harper.
All right. Number one, they were not happy when I signed here. Like, I heard it in the newspaper. I did a radio interview, and they were literally telling me, like, people are lighting up the calls like, they hate you. I'm like, damn, all right. So can I start with the play? Like, what kind of happened first?
Yes,
and just kind of walk you through that, Julian. And then I'll get to the other part that I enlightened you on earlier. So we're playing zero coverage because the thought process was just put pressure on Cam. If you keep him in the pocket, he can't beat you. He throws it to Steve Smith. He makes a hell of a play. Great catch. Breaks a tackle off my man, Jabari Greer. I was covering Greg Olsen all the way on the other side of the field. He was doing this whole runoff thing. He's not going hard. So now I look back. Steve's starting to run. So I'm like, bump it. I'm running. Then I'm starting to get close. And I'm like, dude, I'm going to catch him and I'm going to hit him. And then he starts kind of hot dogging it a little bit, which I get it looking back. Like, I respect it. But at the time, I was just like, I was just seeing red. And so now I'll go faster. And then he scored. And I was like, I really didn't run over here for nothing. So I just hit him anyways. Like, I just bombed him. I was like, I knew it was like 3 or 4 yards in the end zone. I knew that. But then I thought he was going to fight me. So I was like, and I wasn't going to run and act like it wasn't me. So I squared up. But then after I talked to Steve, Smitty was like, bro, I thought you guys were trying to get me kicked out. So that's why I didn't fight you. Because he was like, oh, they trying to get me kicked out. So I'm not going to fight him. And then a big fight happens anyways. And so fast forward 4 or 5 years after that, free agency hits. I'm leaving the Saints. They're going to let me go. I'm like, cool. I was ready to go. It's fine. It's cool. And then the Panthers are like the first team that calls. And when I get here, my first meeting was with Sean McDermott. I didn't even meet Ron Rivera. I met Sean McDermott, and then I met Steve Wilkes. And so, who were my coaches? So I met with Sean McDermott, and he wants to show me like all these things that he could see me doing here and like blah, blah. He was really excited to like have me. Like he was like over the top excited to like have me in the room, breaking down stuff. And I'm just looking at it. I'm telling him what I'm thinking here, blah, 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 which I didn't even play that position. It was fine. It was Mike. Oh my gosh, number 21.
We couldn't remember the name earlier either.
Couldn't remember. It's all right. It's fine. So then he's like showing me all these plays that he's making. I'm like, okay, cool. And then at the end of the tape, he shows me the play where I hit Steve Smith. And then he looks at me and I'm like thinking like, why are you showing this? He's like, I want you to bring that here. Like, I got captains. I need that type of intensity and attitude on this defense. Like, we don't have that. We don't have anybody that's willing to like toe the line and like set a tone like that. Like, I would love for you to do that here. I was like, oh shit, I can do that easy. I'm gonna do that regardless. And so from that point on, like literally, bro, I hit a guy in Green Bay like 2 yards in the end zone, and he gave me like this remark on my grade sheet. Like, I love that. Like, that's what I'm talking about. Loved it. And then we're playing against the safeties coach, Rock, the one from Cal, like the last play. I forget his last name, Coach Rock. And so his son played tight end at Green Bay, and his son was talking trash, bro. And like, I tackled him by the sidelines and freaking body slammed him like 2 yards out of bounds. Flags went everywhere. And literally the whole defense comes in the next day. It's like McDermott shows all these negatives about everybody, like flags, da-da-da, except Roman. Like, I'm like, bro, we signed that deal. Y'all don't know. We signed this
back
deal.
in March.
like, we signed this deal 2 years ago. Like if I get a flag, it's like, bro, I don't care. I started a fight with Roddy White because I had to like punk him because he thought he started getting a little too big for his britches when I was here. And, I had to put him in his place too. And so like, it was just understood. And McDermott was like you do you and don't even worry about it. So Actually, you tell all the Panthers fans, I was actually recruited here because of that, and that they wanted that here. And when I brought it here, we actually won more. So shout out to us.
I love it.
As a community and as a Panthers, who we had 2 division championships in my only 2 years. So I was actually, and I'm part of the best team in Panthers history at 15-1 in regular season.
Yes, you are. And God bless you for that. I had so many other things planned. Like I had recorded something earlier in the day that I was going to put in front of this. And now I'm like, I'm getting rid of that. And this whole episode is just going to be our conversation because like this was too good.
I
And
appreciate it, dog.
I almost cursed. Yeah, I love talking to you, Rome, all the time. And again, y'all, he just gave you the origin story of what led him here to play for this organization and then, of course, stay and raise his family in this beautiful city that he has extreme like for but not love for. Hopefully that changes at some point, but that's all right. You know, you compare my city.
Dude,
you call my city white rice and you're from Prattville, Alabama. How dare you?
Dude, we're not even white rice. Like, what are you talking about? We're not that. Like, it's a good meal. It's just like, hey, man, like, you can't marry everybody. Like, it's okay to date. Yeah,
that's fine. I ain't worried about it. But all right, I'm gonna let you go officially this time and get up out of here. But I appreciate you as always.
All right, Julie.
So now you know. Now you know how it all began with Roman coming to Carolina and that play between him and Steve, and why, if you were ever mad about that situation that happened, I don't know, 13 years ago, get over it. Because Roman was on, as he mentioned, the best team in franchise history was there back in 2014 as well. And then big reason why he came here was that play that he had there on Steve, that late hit. Sean McDermott, now head coach in Buffalo, but then the defensive coordinator wanted to bring him over from New Orleans. So always love talking to Roman and love that he completely blew up the show plan that I had today, just so we could have this conversation, harking back on what happened during his time in Carolina and trying to compare it to this team this year. But that's going to wrap up this edition of the Locked On Panthers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, hosted by yours truly, Julian Council. Again, y'all subscribe or follow the show free over on YouTube or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. And be sure to follow me, Julian Council, over on Twitter and Blue Sky at Julian Council, where I'm back with y'all tomorrow. Have another guest coming on the show, former beat reporter of the Carolina Panthers, now is a big-time NFL writer. I'm not going to tell you who it is, but you'll find out tomorrow on the show. All that and more coming up here. Oh, as always, I'm going to say be safe, be happy, be whole. As always, keep pounding. If I didn't, just said it then, but I'll talk to you all about all of that coming up here on Tuesday on Locked On Panthers.